what is influencing this market crash? And should I buy, or like me, for take an example, if me, should I buy this dip or wait for the time to let the market correct itself? Vikram.
Yeah, actually, as like Anand said, this is crypto is not like a game. You enter with 100 rupees and we started this. Actually, this is happening because the it was a peak time in the December month. I think November, December was properly a peak time where the crypto was at a high. Now at this moment, the market is correcting itself because at the peak there was some investors which was like e-commerce or corporate investors as like MicroStrategy, MacroStrategy, and other e-commerce was also entered in this. Now they are holding because of the influence of those the corporate, the crypto and Bitcoin was a little bit up, and other factor also take place that time. So now the market is correcting because many investors are invested the hard-earned money. Now they are cannot wait to Bitcoin to go to the $100,000, and they are slowly they are liquidating it. And now the main thing, this is becoming a trend for a short term. The Bitcoin is crashed, and if the Bitcoin is crashed, the other altcoins will be the also depressed more than the Bitcoin. So I think right now it's not a right time. According to my opinion, it's not a right time to buy. Still, we have to wait for the stability of the market. Right now, it's a still on the going on. So this is not a financial advice, by the way. It's according to my opinion.
Okay, Purushottam, what's your take on this? The market crash day by day, we are seeing it. So, और कितना crash होगी ये, और या फिर is this just the correction, or should one person buy in this dip or not?
Okay, so again, without any financial or even legal advice,
Yeah.
what I think is, this is a correction. Firstly, it's just that like correction is not same in crypto as in share market. Probably share market में 5% गिर जाने पे हम बोलते हैं correction हो गया price में. क्रिप्टो का करेक्शन भी 30-40-50% तक हो सकता है. तो और ये इसलिए भी इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि अगर आप क्रिप्टो में ये समझ के इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि शायद मेरा डबल और या ट्रिपल हो जाएगा, so if you are expecting and relying on a 300% increase, it is certainly possible and reasonable to be ready for a 40 or 50% down, right? Because the market cannot go in one direction. तो अगर 300% बढ़ने की उम्मीद आप रख सकते हैं, तो आप 40% कम होने के सिचुएशन के लिए भी आपको तैयार रहना पड़ेगा. And about current market, I think there are multiple factors actually which are working here. Firstly, because from regulatory perspective, in the US, we can see very heavy crackdown by all the authorities on crypto projects, be it say DeFi, or there are so many cryptocurrencies which are now allegedly in the category of security. There is some problem happening in Russia because Russia also is seeking to ban at least some form of cryptocurrency. So there are those global big forces. In addition to, I think also the pandemic and other fear which is being created, and impact of those fears we can see even on other markets. So it's not that share markets are doing extremely well and only the crypto market is crashing, because we could see some, like say, bearish trend even in the share market and other asset markets. So I think it's overall, so many factors together, coming together and influencing the prices.
Yeah.
Okay, my Microsoft.
I want to add something in this.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, this correction is happening because right now people are selling. I can say that the panic selling is going on. So right now, this is the time to save your fund in USDT, or you can save in another way, because we don't know what will be the bottom, what for the corrections for the Bitcoin. Correct. Because right now the market is showing the directly proportional to the Bitcoin price. and I can see some cryptocurrencies are more than, I think Luna and all these coins are below the 20% since 24 hours. So I can say that this is a correction time, and we have to admit it, because, and I wanted that because I want to buy at lower price. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
apart from that, we are already addressing this huge dip. Okay. And as Purushottam said, there are many factors behind this, like you mentioned the Russia factor. Again, is the only factor, or are factors like this because of investing, or like for viewers, I just want you to add few more points about this dip so that they are more clearer about this fact that should they buy or not. Because according to me, I am clear, but for them, we need to make it more simple. Purushottam, yeah. Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
सबसे
Vikram,
पहले
continue, yeah.
ओके, सबसे पहले ये चीज ध्यान रखना होगा हमें कि हम क्या बाय किया हुआ है और वो पोर्टफोलियो कितना डाउन है और कितना सिक्योर आपने कर लिया. सो बेस्ट थिंग ये एक फैक्टर है रशिया वाला. इसके अलावा कई और भी फैक्टर्स हैं, लाइक मार्केट करेक्शन होना था. ये पहले भी कयास लगाए जा रहे थे कि दिसंबर के बाद हो सकता है, मार्च अप्रैल तक मार्केट करेक्शन हो सकता है. और डे बाय डे जैसे ट्रेंड डीफाई का और एनएफटीज का आ रहा है, तो एक पोर्टफोलियो डाइवर्जेंस का भी है जो बिटकॉइन को क्रैशिंग के लिए मजबूर कर रहा है. तो वो एक फिनोमिना है कि अब जैसे अपने आप में क्रिप्टो करेंसी मार्केट है, एक अपने आप में बड़ा होता जा रहा है. तो बिटकॉइन की पॉपुलैरिटी घटने के बाद ये एक डोमिनेंस शिफ्टिंग हो रहा है. आई बिलीव दैट दिस विल बी स्टेबलाइज वेरी सून. बिटकॉइन है जो स्टेबलाइज हो जाएगा. बट अगर कोई बाय करना चाहते हैं, कोई क्रिप्टो अपने आप में एक रिसर्च कर लें फंडामेंटली टेक्निकली या किसी से हेल्प ले, तो भी आप उसके लिए 100% अश्योर हो कि आपने बाय किया है. तो ये एक चीज है, क्योंकि मार्केट में वॉलेटिलिटी इतनी ज्यादा है. एज लाइक आनंद सेड, दिस मार्केट इज हाईली वॉलेटाइल. अगर 40% का प्रॉफिट लेने की हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं, तो ये भी एक्सपेक्ट करें कि 40% हमें लॉस भी हो सकता है. तो इतना वॉलेटिलिटी में थोड़ा सा हमें केयरफुल बने रहना होता है.
But again, thank you, Vikram, for this clarity. But
Yeah.
again, Purushottam, I would like to ask you, like, okay, we are addressing the dip, that's okay. But for how long?
Yeah.
How long can we expect it to again dip and dip and dip?
आई थिंक क्योंकि एक दो फैक्टर्स मैंने पहले मेंशन करा था, तो इसलिए मैं एक दूसरे फैक्टर की तरफ जाना चाहता हूँ इस बार. और वो भी काफी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है जिसपे वो के अलग अलग थ्योरीज है, लेकिन वो फैक्टर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्योंकि अगर आप बिटकॉइन का या तो व्हाइट पेपर पढ़ो या तो हमें पता है कि बिटकॉइन एक साइकिल में मूव करता है.
Correct.
बिटकॉइन के साइकिल्स होते हैं अराउंड 4 इयर्स के. एंड वो जो साइकिल है वो इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि आफ्टर एवरी साइकिल द माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड दैट इज गिवन इज रिड्यूस्ड टू हाफ.
या
अब ये काफी इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है प्राइस डिटर्मिनेशन के लिए, क्योंकि अगर माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड हाफ हो जाता है, इसका मतलब क्या है कि अगर पहले एक ब्लॉक बनाने का 25 रुपए किसी माइनर को 25 बिटकॉइंस मिलते थे माइनर को, तो वो 4 साल के बाद 12.5 हो जाएगा, फिर उसके बाद 6.25 हो जाएगा. The importance of this is because this is the method how Bitcoin will take care of deflation. क्योंकि अगर बढ़ता गया सप्लाई तो इन्फ्लेशनरी हो जाएगा, जैसे पैसे हो, जैसे फिएट मनी का वही सिचुएशन है. So if you keep that in mind, what happens is there is also a similar cycle in the price of Bitcoin. So you can always notice that, you know, after 4 years there is certain correction, there is some, you know, like say bearish trend, and then the market again gains. Okay. Now, if you look at the price trend, then in 2017 the big crash that we all know happened. And after 17, actually the 4 years was completed towards the end of 2021.
Okay.
So if you understand it in a very broad context, then it is possible that probably we are seeing that end of cycle, and therefore there would be some, you know, sustained time when the market will be, you know, at low. But now there are people who disagree with this, and there are people who say that because of huge adoption compared to 2017 market crash, this time the market got extended, and therefore the crash will not happen in December, which has happened now, but will rather extend, and probably the crash will happen in maybe March or April. But that we don't know. So from my side, I can say that if it is actually the crash because of that cycle, then probably we are going to see a longer, like flat line, or probably just sideways movement of around 10-15%.
Okay.
And that will continue for a few months. But if the other side is true, if the other side is right, and probably the market will crash due to the cycle subsequently in maybe March or April, then it should correct very soon, and then it should have at least one more rally before it actually crashes.
Okay. Okay. मैं थोड़ा सा ध्यान अब एक कॉइन की तरफ लाना चाहता हूँ. I don't know. It's very important to talk about this right now. ADA, Cardano.
Yeah.
So I want your input for this coin particularly. How is it going, and like what it can show us in future? Because अभी बहुत कुछ दिन पहले ही ये बहुत ज़्यादा रैली इसकी देखने को मिली है. So Purushottam, will start with you.
So I think like it had a good rally, but it also now went down in say last week or so.
Yeah.
In Indian rupee, I think even 2-3 days back it was at around 120, and then suddenly it dipped, and now it is below 100 if I'm not wrong. But overall, the project is there are 3-4 things which are coming up in the project, and I'm not sure if you guys follow this Coin Bureau, the guy, and he recently covered it last week, and he lined up some of the interesting things which are coming, which are to be launched this year on the protocol. So overall, I think it's a good project again. But again, I like to add the disclaimer: this is not any advice, and secondly, I do hold ADA tokens, so again, I may be biased.
So basically, इसकी rally काफी time बाद आई थी ADA की. मेरे what my perspective to ask this question is, after a very long time it rallied to some point, but again, just because of the whole market crash, it again crashed.
I think it rallied because they made few announcements during that time. If you see the time of rally, so basically based on those announcements, it did recover.
Yeah.
But in my understanding, because of the overall bearish trend in the market, the price of the token has come down.
Okay, and let's move on to a very basic Indian part of the market. I hope you must be getting it. The Indian government and the crypto regulation. Correct. It's just a basic question for our viewers to get to know about this, because see, sentiments are rising because of the market crash. We all know that, and including the regulation part in it. What do you see? What's your input in it? That what is the step Indian government will take now? They must be addressing all this and all, because they have to sometimes away. They have to like get into the bill, and they have to release it. They have to like do something for the crypto. Again, we are hearing their daily basis statements that they need more time for this regulation. They need to understand the market well for billing it properly. So Vikram, I will start with you. What's your take that what are the steps that Indian government will take for the crypto regulation now? Does this crash affect their opinions after this, or is like very much off track?
Well, a government, according to the previous statements, government seems like they want to be legal or regulate in such a way that they can outcome from all those challenges, and they are ready to legalize it. Now at this point, who is the responsible for the losses? Nobody cares about it. So regulation is important at this moment, but I think the exit and entry have to be have to be under the taxation department. Like exchanges, they have all the data. They can good way that they can implement taxation, either if it's profit or if it's loss. it will be calculated in the balance sheets. Now, the another thing, the government is want to regulate it, and they have to be assured like how the liquidity will be provided to the every users or like that. I think the liquidity provided by the government will be the not easy, and the government don't want to take 100% guarantee for the every investment, because this is not a centralized system where the government can enter in the system without having any issues, because this is a decentralized system. That's why it's a biggest challenge for the government, and government have to be proactive at this matter. I personally think that this government can do this thing in 2022, in this year, in the summer session. Yeah. So I think government have to be in such a have to implement all those things in the legal way, and we have to appreciate whatever the government is going to do. Either they are banning, or either they are regulating. If it's taxable, then we have to pay taxes happily for our nation. Yeah.
So, okay, thank you, Vikram, for this insight. And Purushottam will ask another perspective of this question, just related to that only, this Indian government regulation part only. Like, is this crash, the dip in the market, they must be monitoring it, correct? So, will it affect the timely decision, as Vikram just said, that in the summer session the bill might show up in the summer session? So this crash, after monitoring it, can the time be more increased more even after the summer or even next year?
That's a very interesting question actually, but like in my understanding, I don't think the government will take a regulatory stand based on the peculiar movement in the pricing. I think that also because last time when the government was actually considering and discussing the bill, that was around November, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the prices, that was probably the all-time high that we saw in crypto.
Yeah.
So if the government actually did care a lot about the pricing, I'm sure they would have passed the bill in November, December, because the prices were all-time high, right? Everyone was happy. Whoever invested at that point of time, at least they were in profit. And therefore, everyone would have certainly recommended the government, ये सबसे अच्छी चीज है, मैंने पैसे कमाए हैं, allow कर दो. लेकिन ये नहीं हुआ. Because government decisions, I don't think they can take these decisions based on 15% market गिर गया है या 20% market ऊपर बढ़ गया है. I think there are broader issues at stake here, and one of the most important issues actually is the issue of monetary control. This is an issue that is being highlighted by RBI repeatedly, because RBI thinks that once we allow cryptocurrencies, the RBI will not have control like that it has on the monetary policies, like say inflation, deflation, or the bank rates, or even the foreign exchange management and controls. So there are so many other policy issues that crypto actually highlights, and those are the major concerns. Or say, how will it interact with the stable coin if the RBI issues CBDC? So those are the issues that it will have to go into the depth and then take a stand. So I don't think it will get very much influenced by the current fluctuation in the prices. Just one thing that I want to add further is, since our budget session is coming, and there is a lot of discussion that probably there will at least be some provision with respect to the taxation of cryptocurrencies that might get introduced in the budget session. And though I see that possible and happening, but here I want to highlight one very important aspect about, firstly deciding the classification of cryptocurrencies in India. And though it is likely, and even I think that government will introduce some provision, some tax provision. I also shared my views, with Economic Times last week. And I was trying to highlight that though it looks like looks like easier route, it looks like an easy solution that government will just add few lines and say you'll have to pay tax at this %. But that should not actually be the approach, because the government must first sit down and define cryptocurrencies. You know, there should be a legal character. Does the government want to treat it as security, as asset, as commodity, without deciding, without informing the citizens first that, okay, this is the way that I want to, this is the way that I see cryptocurrency. You know, they can say, okay, I see cryptocurrency as security, or say as commodity, as asset. But till the time that that legal characterization is done by the government, I don't think, you know, it would be proper to just introduce one provision and say, okay, deduct TDS at so and so percentage. But at the same time, I also think it's quite possible that government will at least introduce some provision on tax.
Okay, okay. So thank you for your very important insights about the regulation part. And I guess we are good for now. And we had this much only questions from the public as well. And okay, we are good to go. And before leaving, I would just suggest my viewers to stick their eyes on the news, daily updates. And as both our speakers mentioned about the dip and crash, and they have also suggested you that even if you have to buy, you have to buy, or even if you have to just sell it, so you can just be a part of the panic selling. So it's your take. They didn't give any financial advice related to that. And yes, the correction of the market is happening, and it can see more dip, or it can just stop and again rally, but it will take some time. So don't panic and just be there. Stick to your seats and see to the regulation part as well, and be updated. So thank you for today. Thank you, Anand, Purushottam ji, and Vikram ji, for being a part of this session.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Anand ji.
See you in the other session.
See you in the next
Thank you,
session.
Vikram.
Very soon.
See you.
Yeah.